Okay, welcome back, neighbor. Thanks for being here. I have had a few inquiries from Reddit and threads once I posted my last video from this camera, just kind of testing it out, being the Nikon ZR. And people were curious how I edit the R3D files. Some people asked where the red raw tab was. There's a few other things I think that we can slow down and talk about. It may take me a little longer than usual, so if you're into that sort of thing, hang on. We're going to watch a 60-second clip that I did, a test shot, test clips with the Remus 50mm from Blazar anamorphic here in the office, and then I graded it. And then we're going to take a couple of clips from that, and then we're going to take a couple of clips from a different scene outside, and just kind of show you how to create a power grade, how to use a power grade, why I use the CST, the color space transform, how to make sure the Davinci is seeing the correct RAW in with the R3D files. Mine, for whatever reason, automatically goes and selects sees it as airy footage, and that's not right, obviously, so that's good. And we're going to make sure that your project settings are set from the beginning to get the best results for this footage. I'm a Mac guy, so everything I have is set for Mac screens and such, so stick around. Here's a 60-second clip. I'll meet you back here to walk through the edit on the back end. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that to some degree. A couple things real quick. Let's jump straight in to the way that I have my settings set up. Let's go ahead and get a screen recording going here. Okay, so this is just in the color tab. Doesn't matter where you're at. This goes back. This is just our timeline, obviously, and I've just thrown some stuff in here while I'm editing on this. I'll finish all this up later. So go to File, Project Settings, and what you'll see here in color management is how I have mine set up. It's Davinci RGB for my color science, and then my color space for my timeline is Davinci wide gamut intermediate. And since I'm a Mac guy, it is recommended. I don't know why. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not a pro colorist. In the Rec 709 Gamma 2.4. You can also do this here, which is interesting. So you can go to your camera raw settings. And like I said earlier, mine always defaults to airy. This is how mine always defaults. So you want to make sure that that's to red. This will often say half res good. I think quarter res good runs the best on my M4 Mac Mini. And still, I mean, you don't get a loss of quality and you don't get a loss of content. So, and then just hit save. Another way to find that information, if you see the cog here in the far right corner, you can still get to these exact same settings, right? And this is just a 1080 timeline for this test. So don't kill me since I'm shooting red raw and I'm using a 1080 timeline. It's just for the tube. It's just for the YouTube, I promise. And I will export in 4K. So, all right. If you don't know, here's how you get to all your tabs. This is your media folder, your timeline, your edit, Fairlight, color space. Color, and it even says color. So I left this one up in the beginning just to show you how my timeline sets up. So we're looking at 10 nodes here. And you've watched all this footage, so I'm just going to scrub back to the end here. And I'm just going to start from scratch. I have a color grade here, which is in the gallery, or in your power grade, I mean. And the way you do that, it's super simple. I'm just going to grab one of these clips. Say this is the look that you want. You right click on it, you grab a still, it automatically drops it in there, and you can just pull it over, and it's basically like just dropping a one-stop shop LUT basically on the thing. But again, that doesn't work for everything, so be mindful of how you use that. I'm not going to use that because I already have it. So I could just delete it, but it's super easy. But if you didn't have that option, we will close that out just for now to simplify our lives. Um, I do like this, and I will come back to it, but in case you've never done this before, the way to create nodes is Option S, and we made 10, obviously. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, 9. Can't count. 10. You can right click on these to label them however you want. I'm not going to break all of these down. I'm just going to rip my power grade over here, and you can copy it from there because that's how I learned. So back to my grade, power grade here. So number one, I don't leave, or I'll leave unlabeled, and this is just basically a reminder for me. This is my raw tab. I'm going to go here first. I'm going to make all of my raw adjustments in the camera raw through Nikon or the Davinci RAW tab, and then I will progress from there. So number two is my color space transform. So in this instance, I'm going to reset this just to show you how to set that up. So I'll reset this node grade, and I'm going to reset the out as well because that makes a big difference. I'm going to hide the LUT. So nothing else has been done, but just in case, let's reset everything. Let's just be very genuine. This is the log. This is the look coming right out of the camera. Sorry, I'm tired. I'm not even going to try to speak better. This is just who we are, and this is what you're going to get. Color space transform in. Go to effects, color space transform. You may have to scroll down to find it. Just drag it over. Drag one there. Drag one on your out. So for your in, we're going to use the color space that we're using currently, which is red. And it's the wide gamut RGB. And then our input gamma will also be red. Blom, blom, blom. The 3G10. Log 3G10. You can see it adjusted some things. Nothing crazy. All right. Our output color space, since we've changed the settings in our project settings, will be Davinci wide gamut and Davinci intermediate here for the last one. So I'll pause here for just a second so you can see these things. It's red wide gamut RGB, red log 3G10, Davinci wide gamut, and Davinci intermediate are the settings here. Okay, then over to your CST out. So since we left in Davinci, we need to come back into Davinci. So wide gamut, intermediate. We're just kind of doing some of these backwards, but here's where it gets a little different. So here we're going to Rec 709. And then here we're going to the gamma that we chose with our monitor, which for me is 2.4. And you can automatically see with doing nothing else, we have a, somewhat of a look happening here. It's probably a weird shot of my thigh here. I apologize. I just grabbed a random clip. I guess I can move it here. So for the person who asked where the raw tab is, it's right here in the far left corner, and it says camera raw. If you didn't shoot in raw, you won't have access to this. But the thing that you want to do, this is not how this comes either. This comes like this, red default, which clearly changes everything. So this should be the first thing you do in step one. Change this from red default to clip. I missed it. To clip. And then that gives you all of your settings. So red, wide gamma, RGB, log 3G10. These things are why we use them over here. And then here's what's interesting. I could change this ISO to whatever I want because I'm in the raw tab. And it's so easy. I think I shot this in 64. I'm sure I shot this in 6400, the second base ISO. But what's also cool is like I can change the tint and temperature of this fall right here without having to go into another form. Like I have a white balance node, as you can see here on my 4. In case you want to take some of that further down the line, I like to do as much of that as possible in the raw tab. You can even adjust your exposure from here if you want. So that's the raw tab. We're moving along. So CSTN, I just showed you CST. Why I put an I in there, I do not know. Good gosh. CSTN here. This is the exposure. I typically do all of this in my HDR panel. I think it's much more contained and much more controlled. And you can kind of see here, darks, shadows, lots of global. Like obviously, like our shadows are pretty dark. And it's just it's very minor. Like you also sometimes if it's real heavy, you might not even see a difference. There you can see a little bit, but it's just very subtle. It's not very destructive. You can also do this in the primaries wheel and with the shadow slotted here, but you can see how much more aggressive that is immediately. So whichever you prefer, that's where you can find those tools. White balance, again, you could do that here in the color wheels with your temps and your tints. You can do it in the raw tab, wherever. That one might be a moot point. It's just a nice reminder to check my white balance. Contrast, I tend to only use the contrast slider here, wrong one, here in the color wheels if I'm looking for a certain look. But honestly, when I get through back to my curves panel here on 8 is where I really adjust those things. Look, this can be a thing if you like to add different colors to the shadows, or if you want to, get to a color grade as far as pushing stuff. Maybe here, like maybe we get to the HDR wheel. Maybe we really want to shove some blues into the shadows. I mean, that's where I like to do that in the look panel. You can name these however you want. Color slice. Honestly, I never use that one. I borrowed this template from someone else, and I need to delete it and start a new grade. So like ignore that. You know what? Actually, ignore that. Curves. I love the curves. And if you don't know where that's at, it's right here. This little tab. And you can change it from, exposure to certain colors. And you can just drop some points here just like you would on any other timeline or any other curve. I mean, I'm gonna break it on purpose, but you can see like just how much more control and how fine-tuned this can be. I like dark and moody, so that's kind of what I did here, obviously. So okay, so here's one that I really think is interesting is the LUT. So this can, I mean, it's off, so this can be any look you want. I tend to like the Kodak Killer look, and that's in this is just one of mine. This is one that I bought from Peter McKinnon. I think it's really interesting. You can just drop it there, and you can adjust the intensity of it here in this key output. If you thought it's too heavy and you didn't like, it's that dramatic, whatever, or you can really crank it up. However you want that to be, it's dealer's choice. So there it is, off and on. So there is the no tree that I use. Really, I said 10 earlier. It's really 9. It's really 8 plus the raw tab. But so same thing. We'll go back to our gallery, find my power grade, which is right there. Just drag it over, apply it, and boom, there it is. Now this shot, I don't like how bright that my face is, if I'm honest with you. So I can go straight to the raw tab. So when I saved this power grade, I had the ISO set 1600. I don't know if I shot it there. I don't think I did. I never shoot 1600, so I definitely didn't. But that's just where I adjusted to, so that's where it's at now. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that down to 800, and I automatically like it better. It's just there's so much information. There's so much information. File sizes are huge because there's so much information. But then here, I mean, obviously, like I don't have to adjust anything else. Like I shoot as much as I can, as similarly as I can. That's a hard word. But here we go. So let's go outside. All right, I've already done this one by accident, so let's delete it. We'll just start all over. So we're just going to grab the same LUT. Awesome. I love that it's different because that I'd messed with the other before I started this. So now, same thing. Showing at 1600. We don't need 1600 out here. 400 is plenty. Looking good. Our shadows are a little clipped here, but that's mostly here in the wheel well of my truck. So I don't really care because I really want to make sure that I have the highlights of these Blue Ridge Mountains here. Again, LUT on, LUT off. You can see the difference. It just honestly, it throws a little green in this thing because it was a little more magenta for some reason. Didn't do anything with the look. I have not touched the contrast, not touched the white balance. I'm just going to turn these off so you realize like how little I've actually used those things in this scene. Curves, nothing. Or the exposure. I am going to get into the curves tab real quick. I don't love how hot those highlights are. So I'm just going to bring those down a little bit. They're pushing up on 100 RE, and I don't love that. So let's get those guys back down under 90, and we'll push the shadows up just there. And there, done. And that's exactly how I'd finish. So lastly, outside walking, talking ahead, my ugly mug one more time. Boom. Drag over. Clearly, 1600's way too hot. brought that back down to 400, and also that's pretty close. I don't love the blue tones in this one. It feels a little cooler than the others, so I'll just jump straight back in here. So it's a 4600. Let's go to 5200 Kelvin. And I mean, I think that looks great. My skin comes back up really naturally. Still holding the blue because my backpack's green. Still looks natural, but the leaves on the trees are still very orange because they're dying, and it's autumn. It's January here in East Tennessee, and I'm scrubbing through here. So like, there you go. I mean, it's that easy. I mean, it seems pretty complicated, but I hope that you take your time, pause this videos you need and the sections that you need. And I apologize for stumbling all over my own tongue. I've not had any whiskey today. There's no excuse. But there you go. If you have questions, please let me know. I love to help. Like, I had to learn. I'm still learning. I do not consider myself good at this. So let's fix this thing together. But as always, thanks for being here, and we'll see you later, neighbor.